I grew up in Bradford, Pennsylvania, which is 70 miles south of Buffalo, New York. We had a lot of family days. There was the way you did things. I mean, the weekends, at least one day of every weekend, you were with family. The earliest was first grade at St. Bernard's School. We went through 12 years together. Lots of good memories, and still in touch with all of them. I have 2 master's degrees, one in theater and another in library science. I went from St. Bernard's to a Catholic college in Rochester, New York. Then I went to North Carolina, and that's where I met my husband Frank the first day I was there. By the end of that year, we were married the following June. Frank was in the Army by that time, and that's what made us decide that we were going to get married as soon as we did. I was offered a job in Portland, Maine, and I had flown up there to interview, so I would have taken over the whole theater program. I stopped in Boston where Frank was stationed, and that's where we discussed our future. So the decision was made. I turned down the job. There wasn't much planning involved, but I mean things like ordering the cake and finding a place to have the reception. He did all that. We had a very small group of close friends, and some of Frank's Army buddies were there, and his parents and his brother and sisters and sister-in-law all came. The biggest influence in my life, change in my life, I would say, it was meeting Frank. I mean, just happening to make a decision to go to the University of North Carolina and happening to meet him the first day I was there. First of all, there was Julie, and then Frank came back from Vietnam, and John was born after that. And then after we got here to Ann Arbor, where Frank came to get his PhD, that's when Johanna was born. And then there were 3 kids. So I taught part-time. When we lived in Memphis, I taught at the university there, the same one Frank did. Right away I was teaching 5 classes. When I got to Ann Arbor, again before Johanna was born, I also taught at the university here in Michigan, in what was then known as the Engineering English Department. I started working for the Ann Arbor Public Schools in kind of a part-time position in their media center. I was asked to join the faculty at Huron High School, so I decided it was more practical for me to stay in Ann Arbor and work every day and only have to go a mile away from home. I had wonderful students who are now librarians around, mostly in the state of Michigan and mostly not too far away from here. And I'm still today doing some library work because we discovered near Pellston, Michigan, that there hadn't been a librarian in the Pellston schools for about 10 years. But there was an elementary and a middle school, high school library. And it was still being used, but it was very much neglected. So that's been my project for the last 5 years, is when I engage with any of the people at the Pellston schools and realize what the issues are that students have to face today as opposed to what they were before. So many things are the same, but so many other things are different. But my heart is definitely in education, watching the forces that can hurt it. We had a commitment to provide good schooling for everybody, and that should still be our commitment. And I find that there are some other ideas afoot that are bringing down that public education offering, and it's not what it should be, and we have to find it, we have to restore it. That's just a very great concern of mine, because I think it definitely influences everything. It influences how people see their government, how they face issues. It was eye-opening for me, and it still is.